Welcome, everyone. We've got a special treat for you today. We're here with a world-renowned author and fly fishing enthusiast. Welcome, Jim. So we'd like to ask you about the physical points to casting. I noticed you had that in your presentation today, and what the major points are in fly casting, because it seems to be an issue for a lot of beginners to how to learn.
Yeah, well, fly casting is not difficult, but it's different than casting with the spinning rod. It's different because the weight that you're casting with your fly rod is in the line. It's not a weight that you tie on the end of the line, it's the line itself. And so that makes the casting different. And a number of really important but really simple principles that'll help people who are learning to fly cast. One is you got to have all the slack out of the line. You can't cast a crooked line. So you've got to get the line on the ground or in the water in front of you so that it's straight. And then you can cast it. And the basic casting stroke, as I see it, is pretty simple. You just drag the line with the rod tip, keeping the rod tip low like that, and you drag it just about a foot or so, and then you flick the tip of the rod. And the flick is the short, sharp movement of the rod, and it has built in the correct flick has a stop right there, and then you just wait till the line finishes going that way, so it's straight again, so you can follow that one principle. And then you do the same thing going the other direction. You drag the line forward, and then flick and stop.
Right.
So if you do that, you make the rod tip bend properly, and you make the line behave the way you want it to, which is to roll off the rod tip first, going in the back cast direction, and then going forward.
Are there certain variations of casting that you use when you're out fly fishing?
Oh, there's a lot of sort of refinements and special function casts that you can do for distance. A double haul is a more advanced casting technique that gives you more line speed, which helps you get greater distance and also helps you cast into a strong wind and stuff like that. And there are other things that will allow you to put the line down in a different position than you might normally want to do it, while the fly still goes to the same target. And there's curve casts and all sorts of kind of special purpose casts. But the real fundamental stuff is a straight line cast with a drag and flick both directions.
So there's a motion in the wrist that is very important that you identified.
Yeah, and it's it's that movement right there.
Wow.
It's short, it's small, but it's sharp.
You do that so well.
It's not this. Well, it's a practice. The mistake people make is they when they go to do the flick, they do this, and that's a much too bigger movement. The thing that people sometimes relate to better is if you think about, especially as it applies to the forward cast, if I had a wooden spoon with a glob of mashed potatoes on it and I wanted to hit you in the face with mashed potatoes, I wouldn't go like this, I'd go like this.
Right.
That's the stroke.
I'll have to remember
some
that.
people think mashed potatoes, and they can fly cast.
I'll have to keep that thought.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And wear some goggles in case.
It'll get splattered.
Yeah.
The other question that we'd like to ask you is one that I've been thinking a lot about, and it's about fly fishing. And what makes fly fishing different from any other sport?
Well, I guess it's because you're, to my way of thinking, you're kind of agreeing to play by the fish's rules. The whole premise of fly fishing is that you're imitating the fish's real food with the fly that you choose, the imitating artificial fly that you put on the end. So it's like the fish make up the rules, and we've got to kind of, play by those in order to catch them. We've got to, I often tell people there's three, I'm being a little facetious, but there's three simple steps to fly fishing. First, you have to pick a fly the fish are likely to eat, which means you should know something about what they're eating because your fly is going to imitate that. Then the second thing is put it in the water so the fish are going to find it. That means knowing where the fish are in the water. And the third thing is make it behave like the thing it's supposed to imitate. If it's your fly is supposed to imitate a little fish that's moving quickly through the water, then your imitation should move quickly through the water. If your fly is imitating a mayfly that just drifts along in the current, just going for a little boat ride, then your fly should do the same thing. So that's what I mean by the fish's rules. That's what you've got to do in order to be able to fool the fish into thinking your fly is a real food item. So I think that's what makes it different.
What about just getting out into the countryside or into the mountains and enjoying the scenery?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's an added bonus to the sport. I mean, you don't have to fly fish to get that sort of benefit, but it's a reason to take you out there. Fly fishing doesn't happen in ugly places, you know. So if you've got your fly rod in your hand, you can bet you're in a kind of a nice place. And you quite often get so focused on what you're trying to do to catch a fish that you might not appreciate the surroundings as much as you should. But I'm finding as I get older that I do spend more time sitting on the bank and looking at what's going on around, and as well as thinking about the fish. But it does take, fly fishing takes a lot of your concentration, and it gets your mind off of other things, and maybe that's the big benefit of it.
Yeah, I find that very important. I know you're also an accomplished photographer. I've seen some of your pictures, and that's probably related to the topic we just discussed.
Yeah, it is, and both my wife and I, we both do almost all this stuff together, including the instructing and the photography. Most of the best photography comes from her. She's got a better eye than I do for that sort of thing. But yeah, the photography, you know, because I write some books and some magazine articles and do some, you know, presentations requiring photographs, we need to have photography, and that's another whole element that goes along with it. And it's a very good environment for photography because of the places you are and what's going on when you're there.
You've also written several books, and just wanted to maybe let people know what you've written.
Well, the first book I wrote was called Blue Ribbon Bow, which is about the Bow River. That is unfortunately out of print. There aren't any more left. And then there's a book called Trout Streams of Alberta, which ran through and was out of print, but we've revised and updated that as of about a year ago. So that's now available again. And then there's a book called Fly Fishing Western Trout Streams, which is the most how-to of any of my books. It talks about fishing methods that apply on western streams, kind of all over the West, BC and Alberta and Montana and Colorado and all that. It looks at the various methods and ways of fishing those kind of streams. And then there's a collection of magazine pieces. We went through sort of 30 years of my magazine writing and gathered those into a book called Watermarks.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Really appreciate
Thanks, Nick.
that. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Okay.
And good luck.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
You
thank
too.
you.